One thing that always resonates with me, we had a discussion about Pharaoh a bunch of years ago, maybe 7 years ago or so, and you had mentioned that by the time you got to the end of Pharaoh, your sort of personal aesthetics have changed. So when you look back at the beginning, you felt like there was kind of a mismatch.
Yeah.
And I think I never read that. I mean, in my viewings of it, I never think like, oh, that's what he's talking about. It's very hard for me to understand what you mean. But can you talk a little bit about that, or what that was like for you to just have it bridge that amount of time?
Yeah, and that's part of how it why it took so long is because I had to redo a lot of stuff that I had done at the
Oh, so
beginning
you
in
did
order
redo
for
a
it to
lot.
match.
Okay. Yeah.
So there is no mismatch
Yeah.
to
Right.
the audience, but there
Okay.
was to me in various versions of the work in progress.
Right. Right.
But that's always a problem you have with long projects is
Yeah.
that you have this initial spark of an idea of something you want to do, and throughout the time that you're making it, you have to keep that spark alive
Yeah.
somehow, so that for an audience, they're going to watch it in just 13 minutes. That's
Right.
how long it's going to take in their own minds. That idea needs to happen in 13 minutes.
Yeah.
So it's really difficult to keep that spark alive throughout the process. And you just need to be really focused. And if you're a different person by the time you finish making the film than you were when you started, so your tastes change, and so a lot of what I ended up having to do is, yeah, kind of revisiting some of those early scenes and saying, well, does this still fit?
Yeah.
It's a lot of what that expression, you gotta kill your babies.
Right. Right.
Like the
Yeah.
things that the first few scenes that I worked on that really got me excited about making this film. I tried to hang on to them for as long as I could, and then realized towards the end that they were no longer appropriate, and
Right.
I had to just
Yeah.
edit them
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And did that happen with Fable as well, or was that something?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it happens with every project.
Yeah.
Even with small projects. I mean, I think it happens with any kind of creative process. Even
Yeah.
if I'm making a painting that takes 2 hours to make,
Yeah.
you start with a couple of brush strokes,
And you have to
right?
let them go.
Some
Yeah.
searching, yeah, and then you refine
Yeah.
and you chisel away and you move things around, and maybe there's a kind of a passage or gesture that you really loved,
Yeah.
and by itself was beautiful, but then it no longer fits in the context of the painting. Maybe it
Yeah.
just needs to move like an inch to the left.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you can't do that again. You can't go back. You
Exactly.
can't duplicate that same brushstroke. Oh, maybe if you're in Photoshop, you
Right.
can. But,
Yeah.
right. But with any kind of like physical work, you do have to kind of sacrifice a lot of that stuff.
Right.